Hopefully you guys feel good about how your first quiz went. Today's lesson, I'm going to have you cut and glue the notes I just handed you after your quiz, and then just watch through this video and fill them out. Your homework is going to be through MathSpace. It's Unit 2, practice number 2, and it's all about symbols. Okay, so today's lesson is all about translating and symbols, meaning going from symbols to the words and from the words to the geometric symbols. Below, you can see kind of what your layout is. Each of the things you need to glue in does tell you which page it's going in. Make sure that this chart with all the symbols is up at the top of page 17, and then put the examples down below. On the left, you have some examples you'll work where you have to go from the symbols to the words and then in reverse from words to symbols. Okay, so just a little bit of practice. You might want to pause this so you can get everything glued where it needs to be before you play and move on to the notes. As I mentioned, this chart kind of represents all the symbols you're going to need, and a lot of these we've already talked about. We've talked about P is your hypothesis, Q is your conclusion. Your conditional is P to Q. Converse is Q to P. Remember, we remember it because we change our order. Inverse is opposite of P to opposite of Q, and contrapositive opposite Q to opposite P. And then we also have our biconditional, which just came from our conditional being true, converse being true. If both of those happened, we had a valid biconditional. The only new symbols there are, this first one is kind of like 3 dots. Okay, so when you draw it, it is just 3 dots. You'll see me use it a lot as the year goes on, and in future math classes. When we get lazy, we just use our 3 dots to tell you therefore. And is nice because the symbol just looks like a capital A with the line missing. Okay, so you can always just imagine that A there. Okay, so that's and. Or is just the flip of that. If you can remember, and looks like the A, or is the other one. Okay, let's go ahead and actually try some problems. The most important thing to realize when you're working with symbols is that I have to give you what each letter involved represents. So for this example, S is going to be that point A is on ray AB. Statement J is going to be that A is the vertex of angle BAC. And statement T is going to be that A is not a plane. When I go to write this, I look at my first example and it says S. Here's my word and. So I would write this as statement S. A is on ray AB. And I like to capitalize it, make it really clear that I know that's my symbol. You don't have to do that, it's up to you. So A is on AB, and A is not a plane. Again, statement S and statement T. For my next one, again, I have statement S. So A is on ray AB. Notice I don't care if these are true or false. I'm just writing what the symbols say. A is on ray AB. That's statement S. Or, that's my or symbol. Statement J. So A is the vertex of angle BAC. Sorry, I left the word of out. Next one, we have our arrow. Remember, our arrow is just our conditional if then. So if A is on ray AB, then, so if then, that's my symbol. Statement T. A is not a plane. Lastly, again, we have our arrow, so we have an if then, and we have our negation symbol. So the negation of T would say A is a plane. So if A is a plane, then the opposite of J. A is not the vertex of angle BAC. On the flip side of that, they can give us a sentence and we need to put it into symbols. So I gave you these symbols where L means you see lightning, T you hear thunder, R it is not raining. So I read my first statement and I see you hear thunder and it is raining. Okay, and is going to be my big symbol there. You hear thunder. I look and I'm like, okay, that's statement T. So you hear thunder, T, and that's our and symbol. It is raining would be the opposite of it is not raining. Remember, they gave us not raining, it is raining. On the next one, you see lightning or it is not raining. Okay, so you see lightning is statement L, or it is not raining, statement R. Next up, we have you see lightning if and only if you hear thunder. If and only if is going to be our symbol. Sorry, guys, Alexa decided to listen to me. You see lightning if and only if you see thunder, hear thunder. So that would be L, if and only if, so your double-sided arrow, you hear thunder, so T. Then we have this kind of standalone statement. You see lightning. Just straight up, you see lightning. That is literally just L. No other symbols, it's just a statement. Therefore, okay, so we have another symbol. You hear thunder. Therefore has our 3 dots, and that's the one a lot of people overlook. Therefore is its own symbol. Therefore, you hear thunder. So therefore, T. That's all there is to it. It's literally matching. I'm going to go ahead and let you try these on your own. Notice P is that elephants fly. meaning the opposite of that would be elephants do not fly. Q is fish don't swim, so the opposite would be that fish do swim. And lastly, we have the statement ants walk. The opposite would be ants do not walk. Now that you have had a chance to look at this stuff, pause it, try it. Our first statement would be elephants fly and fish don't swim. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but we're just matching what it tells us. Our next statement, we have fish don't swim or ants do not walk. Our third example, we have therefore elephants, sorry, should have had an S there, do not fly. And lastly, I know this is my if and only if symbol. So we have statement R, which says ants walk if and only if fish do swim. How'd you do? Last but not least, just some sentences to go to symbols. I always like these better. You could even go through if you wanted and kind of find all the symbol words. So weather is rainy, if and only if. Ground is wet. If the weather is not rainy, then the sky is not cloudy. If then, or we have if, then, and. So let's go back and look through these now. We have statement P, the weather is rainy. Statement Q, the sky is cloudy. And statement R, the ground is not wet. The weather is rainy. So we have P, if and only if the ground is wet. The opposite of not wet is wet. If the weather is not rainy, so if not P, then weather's not rainy, then the sky is not cloudy, so not Q. If the ground is not wet, that's what they gave me, so that's R. Then the weather is not rainy, so not P. We have another if then. If the sky is not cloudy, so not Q, then the ground is not wet, R. Again, I am just matching symbols. I am not even spending 2 seconds thinking about how valid these statements are. Next one, the ground is not wet. That's statement R. Or the weather is not rainy, not P. Last one's a little bit trickier. I'm going to kind of do it down below here. If the weather is rainy, so P, then the sky is cloudy, Q, and the ground is wet, not R. Because that comes after the then part, we would want to group that. That's a tricky one. I'm not going to have you do any, but I wanted you to see that you can kind of link them using grouping symbols, just like you might have used grouping symbols in Algebra 1. Okay. Okay, your homework, let's talk about that for 1 second. Okay, homework. Unit 2, practice number 2. It is on Math Space again. I think it's only 10 questions, and it's going to be symbols, but also some of the other stuff we've been doing. So, Unit 2, practice number 2. If you still haven't done practice number 1, make sure you go back and do that. See you guys next class.